Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you. Thanks for coming on in, and appreciate you guys checking out the channel. Hope you guys can subscribe. And if you don't, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. So, Miami Dolphins have wrapped up their mini camp. Mike McDaniel cutting it a day short for a little walkthrough, and then going off as we await until training camp. And Mike McDaniel said something in his last press conference before going off into the summertime, which was quite frankly a little psychotic. And I love that about Mike McDaniel. I mean, he's a man who speaks to my soul. He's a man that I adore. I adore that four-eyed little weirdo, that offensive genius. I really, really do. And I think it's a big year for him, obviously. Year 3 in your tenure as a head coach feels like it's going to have a lot of stakes to it, right? And I thought it was interesting, a lot of the theme of his final press conference. He was asked about, if the Panthers being in the Stanley Cup puts more pressure on the Miami Dolphins. And in his long-winded way, he said no, because there's already a lot of pressure. He feels the weight of the position with there being a lot of pressure. Now, Dak Prescott had talked about this pretty recently with all the success Dallas has had. Dallas was in the Western Conference Final in hockey. The Dallas Stars, they lost to the Edmonton Oilers, who are taking on your Florida Panthers. And the Dallas Mavericks, obviously, are in the NBA Finals. As I record this, they're down 0-1 in the NBA Finals, but a lot of success. But everybody knows the heritage team, the team that means the most in that market. I'm telling you, I went to Dallas it was a non-football month. I want to say it was late March, early April, not even OTAs. And those mother bleeper, I think it was April, because I think they were talking spring training Rangers. Like, they were broadcasting live from the Rangers spring training. I was there for an Errol Spence Mikey Garcia fight where they were doing it at AT&T Stadium, Jerry's World. And that market was like obsessing over the Cowboys' backup safety spot. That market loves the Cowboys. They do. I mean, and nationally we get the Cowboys kind of shoved into our face, like a baby in a high chair having to eat its smashed peas. Like, we're forced to get the Cowboys nationally. There's so much. And the Dolphins have become a national team, but this suffering has been very long and hard. And Mike McDaniel, one of the things I dig about him is that he notices this stuff. I think he knows the passion of the fans. I don't think that he did have an understanding of that until he took the job, that this is a fan base that is long suffering now, 24 years. And this man, while saying that the Panthers give him no extra pressure, and Mike McDaniel is going to be banging the drum game 1 of the Stanley Cup final, very beloved figure. I think his Q rating among South Florida fans still very high. That man can play to a crowd. He's done it at the NBA Finals. He has done the Panthers drum before. So it's a great first choice by the Miami Dolphins, right? There's a good, I think there's a good partnership there. The Panthers are very welcoming in. Other teams, I think, could be a little bit, in the past would be like a little bit abrasive. We don't want to share that spot. I think the Panthers do an awesome job of, we're going to bring everybody into the tent. We're going to bring as many eyeballs as possible, as much care as possible, because we want everybody to rally around hockey. We want everybody to love hockey. I love that about the Panthers. So Mike McDaniel, whether he feels the extra pressure from the Panthers or not, I don't know. But I do think that this man is psychotic, because he is feeling some kind of pressure. And he revealed this in his final summer press conference before heading off into the off season, before they return for training camp. And this is what he had revealed to reporters about his meeting times.
For half the off season, you're trying to have staff meetings at different times during the day, and I had every staff meeting I put like at 7:24 or 3:24 or 5:24 like the number 24. Okay? To you guys, it means nothing. That's how many years it's been since the organization's won a playoff game. We are going to hear about that come playoff time. You think? So, to me, you do that to empower guys to know what's coming, to understand it, to not run from it. Because if you're going to achieve success where people are predicting failure, you're going to have to go above and beyond.
Listen, psychotic behavior by a beautiful maniac, a man whose mind is very seemingly going miles a minute. I love that. I love that. I could eat that up with a spoon if it was physically possible for me to put that soundbite into ice cream and just gulp it down. I would, because I love that. I love that so much, that he is such a basket case, that this man in whenever these meetings were March-ish meetings, that they're having to have it at 24. I love that, because you want to know something. It is interesting, and he did talk about this a little bit, about that there's a lot of turnover in each year, so it's always tough to grasp the entire locker room around, oh, we did this suffering, we had these shortcomings. But for all the newcomers that are coming in, the Jordan Poyers, the champions like Odell Beckham, the past champions like Jalen Ramsey, or even Tyreek Hill, who has been here for both of the shortcoming years, but they've had success. They don't really need to prove anything. It means something to the fans that the coach has an understanding that the suffering is there. It does. Because, and I get into this argument all the time with Leroy, because Leroy's like, why should anybody care? What does Patrick Paul care? What does Chop Robinson care about the Dolphins' long-time suffering? And I'm not saying that it should hang over the team like a guillotine of thinking that doom is going to happen, but it's just an angst. It's an angst the fan base has. And I think for the last couple of years, because the games have been more entertaining, there's been a letdown of the guard somewhat from Dolphins that is now going to be all the way up, because all everybody was told last year was the Dolphins can't beat good teams. The Dolphins can't beat good teams. The Dolphins can't beat good teams. And I think the faithful was there till the bitter end saying, no, they're going to get it done. This is going to be the week that they get it done. And then it's going to lead to them winning playoff games. And instead, what you got was the most colossal embarrassment possible, which is yak up the 1 seed, yak up the 2 seed, and then have to go to frigid road games and once again see the drought go, and see the Detroit Lions break their drought, go be a win away from the Super Bowl. And so I like the fact that the coach has that pulse, even though that is incredibly psychotic behavior. I love it. I love the fact that he is sitting here making sure it is a thing etched in their minds throughout the season, because they are going to be asked about it. And quite frankly, the way the schedule is set up, it's almost like we're not only going to have you have to hear these questions, you're going to have to basically prove it in the exact way possible, because you're probably going to be set up for an 8-2, a 9-3, a a 10-2, some great start. And don't blow it. Don't blow it. Like we're going to put you in a position to have a December, January swoon. Don't blow it this time. And so I do think that there is, will it matter? I don't know. But I love the fact that it's already on the coach's mind that they have to get over this gauntlet and know that this is going to be something that everyone is now, where everybody's had the guard let down in the fan base, everybody's going to be like, they're gonna be turtled up. They're gonna be full defense going in. They're gonna be, it's not gonna be like Philly shell. It's gonna be like both hands up in a situation where you're not gonna get anything past me. I'm not gonna get hurt. This is not gonna be a shoulder roll. This is not gonna be one of those situations where there'll be glancing blows. There will be no blows. I'm not even going to interact. I'm going to stay on this side of the ring while you guys duke it out, and hopefully my heart doesn't get broken. That's how the fan base is going to feel this year, even knowing how fun the season can be because they have added a lot of weapons, and this could be a new evolution of offense. But no one until week 18 passes, I feel, is going to allow themselves to believe in anything from this team because of how painful it was last year.
I want this team to be very proud. This team is different than the years before. This is a different team. But I want these players on this team to make right of the journey of the last two teams.
That's glorious right there, by the way. That's some Socrates, Mike McDaniel needs to be like on a fortune cookie stuff right there.
And that's okay. Well, those failures led to this success, and that's how you have to look at it, because it's, you are talking to almost half the room. That's like, what? Like, and that's kind of like how you have to adjust to the modern day orchestration of the NFL, where there's, you're staring at about 40 to 60% turnover almost every year.
And understood with that, and that's the argument that Leroy and I get on all the time, is that the team changes all the time. The players are young. They don't remember the colossal meltdown. I get it. But let's just put it into the frame of the last 2 years, this last 3-year window, and even put it into the face of the franchise. First of all, is Tua. Tua has everything to prove. Tyreek Hill, while has nothing to prove because he's won before, does have his former franchise winning, back-to-back years without him, even with their offense looking like they miss him very, very much. They've gone and done things without him. And Raheem Mostert has said these last 2 years have been BS. He said they've been BS, that they've been let down like this. So yeah, I do think it's important. The faces of the franchise have been here, the McDaniel, and then we said it: McDaniel, Tua, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert. Those are probably the faces of the team. You want to add Jalen Ramsey onto there for the other side of the football. I guess Zach Sealer now. Okay, but it's everybody when they signify and think about the Dolphins these days. It's on the offensive side of the football, and it's those 5 guys. Really, it is. And if you really want to trim it down, it's McDaniel, it's Tua, it's Tyreek Hill. I mean, those are the true faces of the franchise right now as we sit here. And they've been here.
So, I think that's how you attack it. You know what's going to be said to you by your friends, or maybe some media members come next December. Let's talk about it now.
And well, I love that. I love the fact that they're going to get into it. Here's the other thing too that's going to come with this, right? The Dolphins statistically have been very good offensively. Jalen Waddle getting himself a handsome new contract. Tua is seemingly headed towards a new contract. Tyreek Hill is getting a raise on top of his lucrative contract. So it's like you guys are getting the reward, the financial reward for it. Well, the financial reward does come even more expectations from the fan base, because the hesitation, I think, from everybody who isn't ready for the team to invest into it is like, how do we know? How do we know? How do we know? How do we know? This looks different. It feels different. I want to say it's different, but it hasn't been different. And now you want to pay this guy this crazy money. He wants to be paid. The market is the market. And I don't know. I don't want my heart to be broken. That's where the fan base is at right now. So interesting and intriguing that Mike McDaniel, who has always had the pulse on the whole narrative thing and how to attack it, now is taking it to an even crazier level.